The stars looked beautiful from the window of the royal ship. Princess Lyra pressed her small hand against the cold glass and watched them pass by. She was only 12 years old, but she had already seen more of the galaxy than most Vela would see in their whole lives. Her skin was pale blue, like the sky of her home planet, and her large silver eyes reflected the light of distant suns. "Your Highness, please come away from the window," said Kira, her guardian. Kira was tall and strong, with darker blue skin and kind eyes. She had protected Lyra since the princess was a baby. "But the stars are so pretty," Lyra said. "Mother never lets me look at them for long." Kira smiled softly. "Your mother, the queen, worries about you. That is all. She loves you very much." Lyra nodded. She missed her mother already. Queen Nara had sent her on this journey to learn about diplomacy. The Vela people needed friends in the galaxy, and young royals had to understand how to make them. But Lyra was still so young, and she wished her mother could have come too. The ship was called the Silver Wind. It was beautiful and fast, painted white with golden lines along its sides. 20 guards traveled with them, all trained warriors who had sworn to protect the princess with their lives. Lyra felt safe with them around. "How much longer until we reach the station?" Lyra asked. 3 more hours, Kira answered. "You should rest before we arrive. The ambassador will want to speak with you, and you must be alert." Lyra sighed. She did not like ambassadors. They talked too much and said too little. But she was a princess, and this was her duty. She walked away from the window and sat down on a soft chair in the middle of the room. The ship was quiet. The guards stood at their posts. The pilots flew through the darkness of space. Everything seemed peaceful. Then the lights went out. Lyra gasped and jumped to her feet. Red emergency lights came on, filling the room with a bloody glow. Alarms screamed through the ship. Kira grabbed Lyra's arm and pulled her close. "What is happening?" Lyra cried. "Stay with me," Kira said. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were full of fear. The ship shook hard. Lyra fell against Kira, and they both hit the wall. The sound of explosions filled the air. Somewhere, metal was breaking. Somewhere, people were screaming. "We are under attack," Kira said. She pulled out her weapon, a long silver blade that glowed with blue energy. "We must get to the escape pods." They ran through the hallways. Guards ran past them, heading toward the source of the attack. Lyra saw their faces. They were afraid, but they did not run away. They ran toward the danger to protect her. The ship shook again. A wall exploded near them, and Lyra screamed. Through the hole, she saw them raiders. They wore black armor and carried weapons that glowed red. Their faces were hidden behind dark masks. "Run!" Kira shouted. They ran faster. But the raiders were everywhere. They came from every direction. Lyra heard the sounds of fighting behind her. She heard her guards falling. She heard them dying. Kira pushed Lyra into a small room and closed the door. "Hide here," she said. "Do not make a sound. I will come back for you." "No." Lyra grabbed Kira's hand. "Do not leave me." Kira knelt down and looked into Lyra's eyes. "I must protect you. This is my duty. This is my honor. Stay hidden, little one. I will return." She kissed Lyra's forehead, and then she was gone. Lyra hid behind a large box in the corner of the room. She covered her mouth with her hands to stop herself from crying. She could hear everything. She heard Kira fighting. She heard her guardian's war cry. She heard the clash of weapons. Then she heard Kira scream. Then there was silence. Lyra did not move. Tears fell from her silver eyes, but she did not make a sound. She stayed perfectly still, just like Kira had told her. The door opened. A raider stepped inside. He was big and ugly, with gray skin and yellow eyes. He looked around the room slowly. Lyra held her breath. "Come out, little princess," he said. His voice was like rocks grinding together. "We know you are here. Your guardian told us before she died." Lyra's heart broke. Kira was gone. Her protector was gone. "If you come out now, we will not hurt you," the raider said. But if we have to find you, we will be very angry. Lyra did not believe him. But she knew she had no choice. She was just a child. She had no weapon. She had no way to fight. Slowly, she stood up. The raider smiled. It was an ugly smile, full of broken teeth. "Good girl," he said. "Our boss will be very happy to meet you." He grabbed her arm and pulled her out of the room. Lyra looked back at the hallway. She saw Kira lying on the ground, her silver blade broken beside her. The Guardian's eyes were closed forever. "Kira," Lyra whispered. "Forget her," the raider said. "She is dead. You belong to us now." They took her to a smaller ship that was attached to the Silver Wind. More raiders were there, carrying boxes of stolen things from her ship. They laughed and joked as if they had done nothing wrong. Lyra was thrown into a dark room with no windows. The door locked behind her. She was alone. She curled up in the corner and cried. Far away, in a different part of space, a human soldier named Tejo sat in his small patrol ship. He was alone too. But he did not mind. He liked the quiet of space. He liked watching the stars and thinking about home. Tejo was 28 years old. He had black hair and dark eyes. His face was rough from years of fighting, but his eyes were kind. He had been a soldier for 10 years. He had seen many battles. He had lost many friends, but he still believed in protecting the weak. His radio made a sound. A message was coming through. Tejo pressed the button to listen. It was a distress signal. The message was broken and hard to understand. But Tejo heard enough. A royal ship. An attack. Raiders. A princess. He checked the location. It was not far from where he was. But it was outside his patrol area. His orders were clear: stay in his zone and do not leave. Tejo looked at the stars. He thought about the princess, a child, alone and afraid, taken by raiders. He made his choice. He turned his ship and flew toward the signal. The raiders had taken Lyra to a mining colony on a small moon. The place was dark and dirty. The air smelled bad. Aliens of many kinds worked there, digging for precious metals. They looked tired and sad. Lyra was put in a cage. The bars were cold against her skin. She sat on the hard floor and looked at her hands. They were shaking. "Do not worry, princess," said a raider who was guarding her. "You will not be here for long. Someone will pay a lot of money to buy you. Or maybe they will pay to keep you locked up forever. Either way, you are very valuable." Lyra did not answer. She just stared at the ground. Hours passed. Day became night, though it was hard to tell in this dark place. Lyra was hungry and thirsty. No one gave her food or water. She thought about her mother. Queen Nara would be so worried. She would send ships to find her. But would they come in time? Would they come at all? Lyra closed her eyes and made a wish. "Please," she whispered. "Someone help me." Somewhere in space, Tejo's ship was getting closer. He did not know what he would find. He did not know if he could save anyone. But he was going to try, because that was what humans did. They tried. Tejo landed his ship behind a mountain of rocks, far from the mining colony. The moon was dark and cold. There was no sun here, only the faint light of distant stars. He could see the colony in the distance. Ugly buildings made of metal, smoke rising from tall pipes, lights blinking in the darkness. He checked his weapons. 1 rifle, 2 small guns, a knife. Not much, but it would have to be enough. His radio made a sound. It was command, calling him. "Patrol 7, this is base. You have left your zone. Return immediately." Tejo picked up the radio. He thought about what to say. Then he turned it off. He knew he was breaking the rules. He knew he could lose his job. He could even go to prison. But somewhere in that colony was a child who needed help. Everything else could wait. He started walking toward the colony. The ground was rough and covered with sharp rocks. The air was thin and hard to breathe. Tejo wore a mask that gave him clean air, but it was still uncomfortable. He moved slowly and carefully, staying in the shadows. As he got closer, he saw guards. They walked around the outside of the colony, carrying big weapons. They wore the same black armor as the raiders. Tejo counted them. 8 guards outside. Probably more inside. He was just one man against many. The smart thing would be to wait for backup. The smart thing would be to call for help. But there was no time for smart. Tejo waited until one guard walked close to the rocks where he was hiding. Then he moved. Fast and quiet, like a shadow. He grabbed the guard from behind and put his hand over the guard's mouth. The guard tried to fight, but Tejo was stronger. In seconds, the guard was unconscious on the ground. Tejo took the guard's black coat and put it on. It was too big for him, but it would help him hide. He walked toward the colony, keeping his head down. The front gate was guarded by 2 more raiders. They looked at Tejo as he approached. "Hey," one of them said. "I do not know you." Tejo did not answer. He just kept walking. "Stop," the guard said, raising his weapon. "I said I do not." Tejo moved fast. He hit the first guard in the throat. The guard fell, choking. The second guard tried to shoot, but Tejo grabbed his arm and twisted it. The weapon fell to the ground. Tejo hit the guard hard in the face, and he went down too. Tejo picked up one of their weapons. Now he had more firepower. He walked through the gate and into the colony. Inside, it was worse than he had imagined. The buildings were falling apart. The ground was covered with mud and garbage. Aliens walked past him with empty eyes, too tired to care about anything. This was not just a mining colony. This was a prison. Tejo had to find the princess. But where would they keep her? He saw a building larger than the others. It had more guards around it. That had to be the place. He walked toward it, trying to look like he belonged there. But then someone shouted, "Hey, that is the human, the one from the patrol ship." They had found his ship. They knew he was here. Tejo started running. Gunfire exploded behind him. He ran between buildings, ducking and dodging. The raiders chased him, shouting and shooting. Tejo fired back, hitting 2 of them. But more kept coming. He reached the big building and kicked the door open. Inside, it was dark and full of cages. Aliens of all kinds were locked inside them. They looked at Tejo with confusion and hope. "Where is the princess?" Tejo shouted. "The Vela princess. Where is she?" An old alien pointed to the back of the building. "There," he said. "They keep her in the special room." Tejo ran toward the back. More guards appeared in front of him. He shot 2 of them and fought the third one with his hands. The guard was big, but Tejo was faster. He hit the guard again and again until the guard fell. He found a door with a heavy lock. He shot the lock until it broke. The door swung open. Inside was a small room. And in the corner, sitting on the cold floor, was Lyra. She looked up at him with her big silver eyes. She was shaking. Her blue skin was dirty. Her beautiful dress was torn. "Who are you?" she whispered. Tejo knelt down in front of her. "My name is Tejo," he said. "I am a human soldier. I am here to take you home." Lyra's eyes filled with tears. "You came to save me?" "Yes," Tejo said. "But we have to go now." "Can you walk?" Lyra tried to stand, but she fell back down. She was too weak from hunger and fear. Tejo did not hesitate. He took off his coat and wrapped it around her small body. Then he picked her up and held her against his chest. "Hold on to me," he said. "Do not let go." Lyra wrapped her thin arms around his neck. "I will not let go," she said. They left the room. The building was now full of alarms and shouting. Raiders were coming from everywhere. Tejo held Lyra with one arm and his weapon with the other. The first raider appeared in front of them. Tejo shot him without stopping. 2 more came from the side. Tejo shot them too. He moved through the building like a storm, destroying everything in his way. "Close your eyes," he told Lyra. "Do not look." Lyra buried her face in his shoulder. She felt his body moving, heard the sounds of fighting. But she kept her eyes closed. Just like he said, they reached the front door. Outside, a group of raiders was waiting. There were too many of them. Tejo counted at least 20. "Give us the girl," their leader said. He was the same ugly raider who had captured Lyra. "Give her to us, and we will let you live." Tejo looked at the raiders. Then he looked at Lyra. She was trembling in his arms, but she did not cry. She was brave. Even now. "No," Tejo said. The raider leader laughed. "No? You are one man. We are 20. You cannot win." Tejo smiled. It was a cold smile, without any happiness. "Maybe," he said. "But I will take as many of you with me as I can." He started shooting. The raiders were surprised by how fast he moved. Tejo ran between them, shooting and fighting. He used everything he had learned in 10 years of war. He used every trick, every skill, every bit of strength. 3 raiders fell, then 5, then 8, but there were still too many. A bullet hit Tejo in the arm. He felt the pain but did not stop. He kept fighting. He had to keep fighting. "Run to the rocks," he shouted at Lyra. He put her down behind a wall. "Stay here." Lyra grabbed his hand. "Do not leave me. I will come back," he said. "I promise." He ran back into the fight. The raider leader attacked him with a big weapon. Tejo blocked the attack and kicked the leader in the stomach. They fought hand to hand, hitting and blocking. The leader was strong, but Tejo was fighting for something more than himself. He was fighting for a child who needed him. He hit the leader one final time. The leader fell to the ground and did not get up. The other raiders stopped. They looked at their fallen leader. They looked at Tejo, covered in blood and dirt, still standing, still ready to fight. They ran away. Tejo stood there for a moment, breathing hard. His arm was bleeding. His body hurt everywhere, but he was alive. He walked back to where Lyra was hiding. She was still there, watching him with her big silver eyes. "You came back," she said. "I told you I would," Tejo said. He picked her up again. She was lighter than before, or maybe he was just tired. It did not matter. He started walking toward his ship. The other prisoners were watching them. They had seen everything. The old alien who had helped Tejo stepped forward. "Thank you, human," he said. "You have given us hope." Tejo nodded. "Get out of here while you can," he said. "The guards are gone. Find your way home." The prisoners started leaving their cages. They walked out into the dark moon, free for the first time in years. Tejo carried Lyra to his ship. He put her in the passenger seat and made sure she was safe. Then he sat in the pilot's seat and started the engine. "Where are we going?" Lyra asked. "Home," Tejo said. "You're home." He flew the ship up into the sky. The mining colony grew smaller and smaller below them. Soon it was just a tiny dot of light in the darkness. Lyra looked at Tejo. "Why did you save me?" she asked. "You do not know me. I am not your people." Tejo thought about it for a moment. "Because it was the right thing to do," he said. "Because you needed help. Because someone had to try." Lyra was quiet for a long time. Then she said something that Tejo would never forget. "Humans are strange," she said. "My people said humans were dangerous warriors. They said humans were cold and uncaring. But you risked your life for me. You are not cold at all." Tejo smiled, his first real smile in a long time. "Humans are many things," he said. "Some good, some bad, but most of us, we just want to help." Lyra leaned her head against his arm. She was so tired, so very tired. "Thank you, Tejo," she whispered, and then she fell asleep. Tejo looked at the sleeping child. She was safe now. She would see her mother again. That was all that mattered. He turned his ship toward the Vela homeworld and flew into the stars. The journey to the Vela homeworld would take 5 days. Tejo's ship was small and not very fast. It was built for patrol, not for long trips. But it was all they had. Lyra slept for almost a full day. Tejo let her rest. She needed it after everything she had been through. He sat in the pilot seat and watched the stars pass by. His arm hurt from the bullet wound, but he had cleaned it and wrapped it with cloth. He had been hurt worse before. When Lyra finally woke up, she looked confused. She looked around the small ship with her big silver eyes. "Where am I?" she asked. "You are safe," Teho said. "We are on my ship. We are going to your home." Lyra remembered everything then. The attack, the raiders, the rescue. She looked at Teho and saw the bandage on his arm. "You are hurt," she said. "It is nothing," Teho said. "Just a small wound." "You got hurt because of me," Lyra said. Her voice was sad. Teho shook his head. "I got hurt because bad people did bad things. That is not your fault." Lyra was quiet. She pulled his coat tighter around her body. She was still wearing it. It was warm and smelled like something she did not recognize. Later, she would learn it was the smell of humans. "Are you hungry?" Teho asked. Lyra nodded. She had not eaten in 2 days. Teho opened a small box and took out some food. It was not much. Some dried meat. Some hard bread. A few pieces of fruit that looked old. "This is all I have," he said. "I am sorry it is not better." Lyra took the food. She looked at it carefully. "What is this?" she asked, holding up the dried meat. "It is called jerky," Teho said. "It is dried beef, from an animal on Earth." "Earth," Lyra said. "That is your home planet?" "Yes." Lyra bit into the jerky. It was hard and salty. But she was so hungry that it tasted wonderful. She ate everything Teho gave her. "What about you?" she asked. "You need to eat too," Teho smiled. "I am fine. I can eat later." But Lyra saw the truth. He had given her all the food. He had nothing left for himself. She felt a strange feeling in her heart. This human, this stranger, was taking care of her like she was his own family. "Thank you," she said softly. The hours passed slowly. Teho taught Lyra how to read the ship's controls. He showed her the map of stars. He explained how the engine worked. Lyra listened carefully. She had always loved learning new things. "You know a lot," she said. "Did you go to school for a long time?" Teho laughed. It was a warm sound. "No," he said. "I learned most of this on my own. Or from other soldiers." "Have you been a soldier for a long time?" 10 years. Lyra thought about this. "That is almost as long as I have been alive." Teho looked at her. She was so young. Too young to have seen so much darkness. "How old are you?" he asked. 12, Lyra said. "But I will be 13 soon. My birthday is in 2 weeks." 13, Teho said. "That is a special birthday for humans too." "What do humans do for birthdays?" "We have parties," Teho said. "With cake and presents. Family and friends come together. We sing a song. A song." Lyra was interested. "What kind of song?" Teho felt a little embarrassed. He was not a good singer. But Lyra was looking at him with such curiosity. He took a breath and sang the birthday song. His voice was rough and out of tune. Lyra laughed. It was the first time she had laughed since the attack. "That is a funny song," she said. "Will you sing it for my birthday?" Teho smiled. "If you want me to." They talked for hours. Lyra told Teho about her home. The Vela homeworld was a beautiful place. Blue oceans and green forests. Cities made of white stone and silver metal. The palace where she lived was on top of a mountain, surrounded by clouds. "It sounds wonderful," Teho said. "It is," Lyra said. "I miss it very much." Her eyes became sad. "I miss my mother. Tell me about her." Lyra's face lit up. "My mother is the queen. Her name is Nara. She is beautiful and kind. She rules our people with wisdom. Everyone loves her." Lyra paused. "She must be so worried about me." "She will see you soon," Teho said. "Just a few more days." On the second day, Teho taught Lyra a game. It was a simple card game that human soldiers played to pass the time. The cards had pictures of numbers and colors. The rules were easy. "I win again," Lyra said happily. She had won 5 games in a row. Teho pretended to be upset. "You are too good at this. You must be cheating." "I am not cheating," Lyra laughed. "You are just bad at this game." Maybe you are right, Tejo said, smiling. They played cards for hours. Lyra learned quickly. She started to understand strategy and planning. Tejo was impressed. She was very smart for her age. You would make a good soldier, he said. Lyra shook her head. I do not want to be a soldier. I want to be a good queen someday. Like my mother. You will be, Tejo said. I can tell. On the third day, the ship had a problem. The engine started making strange sounds. Tejo checked the controls and frowned. What is wrong? Lyra asked. The engine is overheating, Tejo said. We have to stop and let it cool down. He found a small moon nearby and landed the ship. The moon had air, but it was very cold. Tejo and Lyra stayed inside the ship and waited. Are we going to be okay? Lyra asked. She was worried. Yes, Tejo said. We just need to wait a few hours. Then we can continue. They sat together in the small ship. Outside, snow was falling. It was pretty, but cold. Tejo, Lyra said. Can I ask you something? Of course. Do you have a family? Tejo was quiet for a moment. I had a family, he said. My parents died when I was young. I have a sister. But I have not seen her in many years. That is sad, Lyra said. It is, Tejo agreed. But that is life. Sometimes we lose the people we love. The important thing is to remember them. Lyra thought about Kira, her guardian. She would never forget Kira. Never. What was your mother like? Lyra asked. Tejo smiled at the memory. She was kind. She always had a smile for everyone. She made the best food. And she used to sing to me when I was scared. That sounds nice. It was. Tejo looked at Lyra. Your mother will hold you again soon. I promise. On the fourth day, they saw something beautiful. A nebula, a giant cloud of gas and dust in space. It was purple and blue and pink, with stars shining inside it like diamonds. It is so beautiful, Lyra whispered. It is called the Queen's Crown, Tejo said. Humans have been watching it for hundreds of years. The Queen's Crown, Lyra repeated. She liked that name. I will tell my mother about it. She would love to see it. They flew past the nebula slowly. Lyra pressed her face against the window, trying to see everything. The colors changed and moved, like paint on water. Tejo, Lyra said. Thank you for showing me this. Thank you for being here to see it with me, Tejo said. Lyra looked at him. In the past few days, she had learned so much about this human. He was brave and kind. He had risked everything to save her. A child he had never met. He had shared his food, his knowledge, his stories. I was wrong about humans, she said. What do you mean? My people told me that humans were dangerous. They said humans only cared about war and power. They said humans could not be trusted. Lyra shook her head. But you are not like that. You are good. Tejo felt something warm in his heart. Thank you, Lyra. That means a lot. When I am queen, Lyra said, I will make sure my people know the truth about humans. I will tell them your story. I will make sure no one ever forgets what you did for me. Tejo did not know what to say. He just nodded and looked back at the nebula. On the fifth day, they finally saw it. The Vela homeworld. It was exactly as Lyra had described. Blue oceans and green forests, white cities shining in the sunlight, mountains reaching up to touch the clouds. Lyra pressed her hands against the window. Tears filled her silver eyes. Home, she whispered. I am home. Tejo contacted the planet's defense system. He told them who he was and who he had with him. At first, they did not believe him. They thought it was a trick, but then Lyra spoke to them, and everything changed. This is Princess Lyra, she said. I am alive. This human saved me. Please let us land. There was a long silence. Then a voice came through the radio. Princess, we have been searching for you. Your mother has not stopped crying since you disappeared. Landing permission granted. Welcome home. Lyra could not speak. She was crying too hard. The ship flew down through the clouds. Below them, Lyra could see the palace. And standing at the landing platform was a figure in white. Her mother. "Mom," Lyra whispered. "I am coming, Mom." Tejo looked at the young princess. She had been through so much. But she was home now. She was safe. He had done what he came to do. He just hoped that Queen Nara would understand. The ship touched down on the landing platform with a soft bump. Lyra was already standing at the door, waiting for it to open. Her heart was beating so fast she thought it might explode. Tejo turned off the engines. He looked at Lyra and smiled. "Are you ready?" Lyra nodded. She could not speak. All the words were stuck in her throat. Tejo pressed a button, and the door opened slowly. Bright sunlight flooded into the ship. Lyra had to cover her eyes for a moment. She had been in the darkness of space for so long that the light hurt. When her eyes adjusted, she saw her mother. Queen Nara stood at the edge of the platform. She was wearing a white dress that flowed in the wind like water. Her blue skin was pale, and her silver eyes were red from crying. She looked thin and tired. She had not eaten or slept properly since her daughter disappeared. When she saw Lyra standing in the doorway of the ship, she made a sound. It was not a word. It was something deeper. A sound that came from the bottom of her heart. A mother's cry. "Lyra," she whispered, then louder. Lyra ran down the ramp as fast as her legs could carry her. The guards tried to stop her, to check if she was safe, but she pushed past them. She did not care about safety. She did not care about rules. She only cared about one thing. "Mom," she screamed. "I am back. He saved me." She threw herself into her mother's arms. Queen Nara caught her daughter and held her so tight that Lyra could barely breathe. But Lyra did not mind. She held her mother just as tight. They stood there on the platform, holding each other, crying together. "My baby," Queen Nara said. Her voice was broken. "My beautiful baby. I thought I lost you. I thought I would never see you again." "I am here, Mom," Lyra cried. "I am here. I am okay." "I searched everywhere," the Queen said. "I sent every ship we had. I called every ally we have. No one could find you, I thought." She could not finish the sentence. "A human saved me," Lyra said. She pulled back and looked at her mother's face. "His name is Tejo. He came alone. He fought all the raiders by himself. He carried me to safety. He brought me home." Queen Nara looked up. She saw the small patrol ship. She saw the human standing in the doorway, watching them. He did not come forward. He just stood there, waiting. The Queen gently let go of her daughter. She wiped the tears from her face. Slowly, she walked toward the ship. Tejo watched her approach. He had seen many powerful people in his life. Generals, presidents, leaders of worlds. But Queen Nara was different. Even after days of crying, even after all her pain, she carried herself with dignity and grace. She was beautiful and frightening at the same time. He stepped down from the ship and stood on the platform. He was still wearing his torn clothes. His arm was still bandaged. He had not shaved in days. And he looked tired and rough. Queen Nara stopped in front of him. They stood face to face, human and Vela, soldier and queen. "You are the one who saved my daughter," she said. Her voice was formal, but it shook with emotion. "Yes, Your Majesty," Tejo said. He was not sure what else to say. "They told me it was impossible," the Queen said. "They told me the raiders were too strong. They told me no one could get her back. But you did. I had to try," Tejo said simply. "You went alone," Queen Nara said. "Against orders. Against all reason. Why?" Tejo thought about the question. He thought about all the complicated answers he could give. But in the end, the truth was simple. "Because she is a child," he said. "And she needed help." Queen Nara's eyes filled with tears again. She had heard many speeches in her life. She had listened to politicians and diplomats use beautiful words to say nothing. But this human, this simple soldier, had spoken the truest words she had ever heard. She did something that no Vela Royal had ever done before. She bowed. The guards gasped. The servants stared. Even Lyra looked surprised. In Vela culture, the royal family never bowed to anyone. They were the highest in their society. They received bows. They did not give them. But Queen Nara did not care about tradition. She did not care about what people would say. This man had saved her daughter. He had given her back the most precious thing in the universe. She bowed low, her hands folded in front of her chest. "Thank you," she said. "From the bottom of my heart. Thank you." Tejo felt uncomfortable. "Please, Your Majesty. You do not have to do that. Please stand up." Queen Nara rose. There were tears on her cheeks, but she was smiling. "What is your name, human?" "Tejo, Your Majesty." "Tejo," she repeated. "That is a good name. A strong name." She reached out and took his hands in hers. "You have done something that can never be repaid. You have given me back my child. I do not have words to express what I feel." Tejo looked down at their hands. Her skin was cool and soft. His hands were rough and covered with cuts. They were so different. And yet, in that moment, they were connected. "Seeing her safe is enough," Tejo said. "That is all the payment I need." Lyra ran up and grabbed both of them. "Mom, Tejo is amazing. He fought so many bad guys. And he taught me card games. And he showed me a beautiful nebula. And he promised to sing at my birthday." Queen Nara laughed. It was the first time she had laughed in days. "Is that so?" Tejo felt his face get warm. "The princess is exaggerating." "I am not," Lyra said. "He was so brave. He carried me through fire and fighting. He did not stop even when he got shot." Queen Nara's face became serious. She looked at the bandage on Tejo's arm. "You are hurt." "It is nothing," Tejo said. "It is not nothing," the queen said firmly. "You will be taken to our medical center immediately. Our doctors will treat you. Your Majesty, I should really return to my people. I left without permission. I am probably in a lot of trouble." Queen Nara shook her head. "You are not going anywhere. Not yet. You will stay as my guest. You will rest. You will heal. And then we will talk about what happens next." Tejo wanted to argue, but he saw the look in the queen's eyes. She was not asking. She was commanding. And honestly, he was too tired to fight. "Yes, Your Majesty," he said. The queen smiled. "Good. Now come. Let us get out of this wind." They walked together toward the palace. Lyra held Tejo's hand on one side and her mother's hand on the other. She walked between them like she belonged there. The palace was even more beautiful up close. White stone walls that seemed to glow in the sunlight. Gardens full of flowers that Tejo had never seen before. Fountains that sprayed water in perfect arcs. It was like something from a dream. Servants and guards lined the hallways. They all stared at Tejo. Some looked curious. Some looked suspicious. Humans were rare on this world. Most Vela had never seen one in person. But when they saw the queen holding the human's hands, when they saw Princess Lyra smiling at him, they understood. This human was special. This human was to be respected. The medical center was clean and bright. Vela doctors examined Tejo carefully. They cleaned his wound and treated it with medicine that made the pain disappear. They gave him food and water. They let him rest on a soft bed. Lyra sat beside him the whole time. She refused to leave. "You do not have to stay," Tejo told her. "You should be with your mother." "I will be with her later," Lyra said. "Right now, I want to be with you." "Is that okay?" Tejo smiled. "That is okay." They sat in comfortable silence. Outside the window, the sun was setting. The sky turned orange and pink and purple. It was beautiful. "Tejo," Lyra said. "What will happen now?" "What do you mean? Will you stay here? Or will you go back to your people?" Tejo thought about it. "I do not know," he said honestly. "I broke many rules. My commanders are probably very angry with me. I might not have a job to go back to. Lyra looked worried. That is my fault. You got in trouble because of me. No, Tejo said firmly. I got in trouble because of my choices. I chose to save you. I would make the same choice again. Really? Really? Lyra smiled. Then she leaned over and hugged him. It was a small hug, but it meant everything. I hope you can stay, she said. I like having you here. Tejo hugged her back gently. We will see what happens. That night, Tejo lay in his bed and looked at the ceiling. He was in a palace on an alien world, being treated like a guest of honor. A few days ago, he was alone on a patrol ship, looking at stars. Life was strange. He did not know what the future would bring. He did not know if he would stay or go, but he knew one thing for sure. He had done the right thing. And whatever happened next, he would face it the same way he had faced everything else. One step at a time. In another part of the palace, Queen Nara sat in her room. Lyra was sleeping in her bed, curled up like a baby. The queen watched her daughter breathe in and out. Such a simple thing. Breathing, but the queen had thought she would never see it again. She thought about the human soldier. Tejo. Such a strange name. Such a strange person. He had done what no one else could do. He had brought her daughter home. The queen made a decision. Tomorrow, she would do something important. Something that would change the relationship between her people and the humans forever. But that was tomorrow. Tonight, she would just sit here. She would watch her daughter sleep. She would feel grateful. She would feel alive. 3 days passed. Tejo's wound healed quickly with the Vela medicine. The doctors said they had never seen a human body recover so fast. Tejo just smiled. Humans were tough. They had to be. During those 3 days, Lyra barely left his side. She showed him the palace gardens. She introduced him to her favorite books. She taught him words in the Vela language. Tejo tried to say them, but his tongue could not make the right sounds. Lyra laughed every time. You sound like a baby bird trying to sing, she told him. Thank you for your kindness, Tejo said with a smile. Queen Nara watched them from a distance. She saw how her daughter smiled. She saw how the sadness from the attack was slowly fading. This human had saved Lyra's body. And now he was healing her heart too. On the 4th day, the queen called Tejo to the throne room. The throne room was the biggest room Tejo had ever seen. The ceiling was so high he could barely see it. Giant pillars held it up, each one carved with beautiful patterns. At the end of the room was a throne made of silver and white crystal. It shone like a star. Queen Nara sat on the throne. She was wearing formal clothes today. A crown sat on her head. She looked powerful and beautiful, like a goddess from old stories. Tejo walked toward her. He did not know what to do, so he bowed the way he had seen Vela servants bow. Rise, Queen Nara said. Her voice echoed in the big room. Tejo stood up straight. He noticed that the room was full of important-looking Vela. Ministers, generals, leaders of great houses. They were all staring at him. Tejo of Earth, the queen said formally, you have been brought before me and my council to discuss your future. Tejo's heart beat faster. This sounded serious. We have contacted your government, the queen continued. We explained what happened. We told them everything you did. Tejo braced himself. He expected bad news. Court-martial. Prison. Dishonor. They were surprised, the queen said. There was a small smile on her face. At first, they did not believe us. A single human soldier defeating a raider base alone? Impossible, they said. But we sent them evidence. Video recordings from your ship, medical reports from our doctors, and the testimony of my daughter. She paused. The room was silent. Your government has agreed not to punish you, the queen said. In fact, they have decided to honor you. You will receive your highest military award, the Star of Earth. Tejo did not know what to say. He had expected punishment, not rewards. But that is not why I called you here, the queen continued. She stood up from her throne and walked down the steps toward him. I have a question for you, Taeho, and I need you to answer honestly. Yes, your majesty. The queen stopped in front of him. She looked into his eyes. Why did you save my daughter? The true reason. Not the simple answer you gave before, Taeho thought carefully. He wanted to give her the truth, even if it was complicated. When I was a boy, he said, my mother told me something. She said that the galaxy is full of darkness. There are bad people everywhere, doing bad things. We cannot stop all of them. We cannot save everyone. But if we see someone who needs help, and we can help them, we must. Not because it is easy. Not because we will be rewarded, but because that is what makes us human. He paused. When I heard the distress signal, I thought about that. I thought about a child alone and scared. I thought about her mother waiting, hoping, praying. I knew I might fail. I knew I might die. But I could not do nothing. My mother would have been ashamed of me. Queen Nara listened to every word. When Taeho finished, she had tears in her eyes again. Your mother sounds like a wonderful woman, she said. She was. The queen nodded. Then she turned to face her council. You have all heard this man's words. You know what he did. Now, I will tell you what I have decided. She walked back to her throne but did not sit down. She stood in front of it, facing the whole room. For too long, we Vela have feared humans. We kept our distance. We believed the stories that said humans were dangerous, cold, untrustworthy. But I have seen the truth with my own eyes. I have held my daughter because of a human's courage. I have watched this man put everything on the line for someone he had never met. Her voice grew stronger. I declare, here and now, that the Vela Kingdom and the Human Federation shall be allies, not trading partners, not neutral neighbors. Allies. We will share our knowledge. We will fight together against common enemies. We will build a future together. The council members looked shocked. Some of them started whispering to each other. This was unprecedented. No Vela ruler had ever made such a declaration about any species. One of the ministers stood up. He was old, and his face was hard. Your Majesty, with respect, this is a big decision. Should we not discuss it further? No, Queen Nara said firmly. I have made my decision. This human saved my daughter. He showed me what humans are truly capable of. If we cannot trust people who would die for our children, then who can we trust? The old minister sat down. He did not argue further. Queen Nara turned back to Taeho. And you, Taeho, I have a personal request. Anything, Your Majesty. Stay with us. Not forever, but for a while. Be an ambassador between our peoples. Help us understand humans. Help them understand us. And... She smiled softly. My daughter would miss you terribly if you left. Taeho thought about it. He thought about his life back home. The empty apartment. The routine patrols. The loneliness. Then he thought about Lyra's smile. About the beautiful nebula. About the chance to do something meaningful. I would be honored, he said. The doors to the throne room burst open. Lyra ran inside, ignoring the guards who tried to stop her. Mom, did you ask him? Is he staying? Queen Nara laughed. Lyra, you were supposed to wait outside. I could not wait. I had to know. She ran up to Taeho and grabbed his hand. Are you staying? Please say you are staying. Taeho knelt down so he was at her level. I am staying, he said. For a while, at least. Lyra threw her arms around him. Yes, yes, this is the best day ever. The council members watched this scene. Some of them were still uncertain about the alliance. But when they saw their princess, their future queen, hugging the human soldier like he was family, they began to understand. Perhaps humans were not so different after all. That evening, there was a celebration. The whole city came alive with lights and music. People danced in the streets. Fireworks lit up the sky. It was a celebration for the princess's safe return and for the new alliance. Taeho stood on a balcony, watching the festivities below. He still could not believe any of this was real. "Beautiful, is it not?" Queen Nara said, walking up beside him. "Very," Taeho agreed. "This is all because of you," she said. "The joy you see. The hope. You gave it to us. I did not do it alone." Lyra was brave too. She never gave up. She never gave up, the queen smiled. She told me everything that happened, every detail. She told me about the games you played, the stories you shared, the song you promised to sing at her birthday. Taeho groaned. She remembered that. She remembers everything about you. The queen looked at him with warm eyes. You have become very important to her, Taeho. To both of us. She is an amazing child. She will be a great queen someday. Yes, she will, especially now, with a human friend to guide her. The queen was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "My daughter asked me something this morning. She asked if you could be her official protector, her guardian." Taeho's eyes went wide. That is a great honor. It is. The greatest honor we can give to an outsider. What do you say? Taeho looked down at the celebration. He saw Lyra in the crowd, dancing and laughing with other children. She looked up and saw him watching. She waved excitedly. He waved back. "I say yes," Taeho said. "I will protect her with my life." Queen Nara put her hand on his shoulder. "I know you will. You already have." The celebration continued late into the night. Lyra fell asleep on Taeho's shoulder as they watched the last fireworks. The queen carried her to bed. But not before Lyra mumbled something in her sleep. "Thank you, Taeho," she whispered, "for everything." Taeho stayed on the balcony for a long time. He looked at the stars. The same stars he had watched from his patrol ship. They looked different from here. Brighter. More hopeful. He thought about his mother. He wished she could see him now. A soldier from Earth, standing in an alien palace, trusted by a queen, loved by a princess. She would have been proud. In the years that followed, the alliance between humans and Vela grew strong. They traded knowledge and resources. They fought side by side against raiders and invaders. They became more than allies. They became family. And through it all, Taeho stayed true to his word. He protected Lyra as she grew from a child into a young woman. He watched her learn and grow. He taught her about humans. She taught him about Vela. When she finally became queen, many years later, Taeho stood beside her. Not as a servant, but as a friend, as family. And in every history book, in every story told to children, one moment was always remembered. The moment when a young princess ran into her mother's arms and cried, "Mom, I am back! He saved me!" The moment when tears fell and hearts were healed. The moment when two peoples became one. All because one human soldier decided to try. Because that was what humans did. They tried, and sometimes, trying was enough.